Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy at the request of Patreon subscriber Nick Ropp, and this is Tempo Beanstalk. This list is pretty interesting to me because these Tempo Phelia decks exist with high counts of Daze, Stifle, and Wasteland. And I've personally been struggling with how to build Phelia shells because to me, I really like Phelia and Quantum Riddler being a mid and late game engine, but Daze, Stifle, and Wasteland pull you into playing a shorter game. However, these lists continue to put up good results, so maybe I'm just wrong, or maybe everyone is copying and it's kind of a monkey see, monkey do situation and no one's trying for the mid range. I don't actually know the answer to that, but I know it is not how I personally would build a Phelia deck if I was starting from scratch. And this build makes that even weirder because it splashes a whole color for another late game card advantage engine in Up the Beanstalk. Up the Beanstalk, the longer it's in play, the more it's going to do for you. In a deck with Wasteland, Stifle, and Daze, which is trying to play a short game. However, Phelia is very good at making Beanstalk trigger. So is Quantum Riddler, which is also good with Phelia. There's a ton of synergy here, no doubt about it. And what this deck is trying to do is get the best of both worlds in kind of a Pokemoki kind of fashion. If you look at all the decks Pokemoki has been known for over the years, the Rug Pokepile, the Bug Beans, all of those sort of decks, he's really good at building decks that can play that Daze Wasteland game, but also can beat you going long if you don't convert. And finding that line is really tight in deck building. Does this deck actually have an incredible tempo plan and an incredible control plan, or is it just kind of bad at both? And given the results with this deck, because this comes from Nick put up a 5-0 with it. I copied it directly from the posted 5-0 list from Nick, and he got it from someone else who was doing well with it. And clearly this Daze Phelia shell is doing well in the hands of various pilots across the format. I'm not trying to yuck anyone's yum. I'm just talking about what I think when I see a deck list like this one, where there's already an insane card draw engine. It's already being collapsed into a shorter game. And now we're splashing a color for another engine. It excites me. This is the cool thing about Richard Garfield's beautiful game engine is you get better cards, but you have to play worse lands. And that's just a trade-off that every Magic deck builder makes every time they build a deck. That was kind of a philosophical Magic and deck design sidebar on what's basically just Phelia Blink. Let's get in here and play it. I'm on the play in round 1, and I'm against Faulted Form, who is the premier Oops All Spells player on the earth. And honestly, this Wasteland is fucking tragic because I would keep Force Stifle on the play against Oops All Spells every day of the week. But Wasteland simply does not play the game. I'm going to mulligan this. Okay, I will keep this one, and I think that Up the Beanstalk is the worst card in this hand. I don't fully expect Oops All Spells to just fold to a Force of Will. I'd Stifle on top. I like that. That buys me interaction. Like if opponent spends this turn discarding and doesn't convert into a win, then the Stifle appears from the top, and we see what happens. Dark Ritual, Thoughtseize. And that's one of those classic spots of like, do you force the ritual or force what comes out of it? And had the double ritual Thoughtseize in the middle start, in which case it would have been better to force the ritual, but if my opponent was on no protection or Pact of Negation instead, then it's better to go the other way. Just looking at the list here. Pacts are in here. The Oracle is accounted for. I see at least one Poxwalkers. Where is the Dread Returns? Probably in the hand, but Cabal Therapy can get it out of the hand. Or I'm just not seeing it. I mean, we're dead here. I just want to see the moving pieces. Yeah, 2 Poxwalkers and a Bridge from Below. I like kind of letting the first thing trigger in case I missed it, because these decks could have between 0 and 3 Poxwalkers in it, which change how they play. They may or may not have Bridge from Below. Yeah, there's the Dread Return. All right. We knew that was there. Okay. It's a shame we couldn't punish that better. That fucking wasteland would have actually done the job there. If it was an island in my opening hand. Okay, Veil of Summer, Fairy Macabre, Soul Guide Lantern, Containment Priest, Consigned to Memory, Dress Down. Look at all these cards. 10 cards coming in. Prismatic Ending, go away. Swords to Plowshares. I think those can go away. Again, you know, do they have a creature juke? One of the things we have to figure out here. Daze is fine. Do I need 22 lands in my deck? Wasteland's not that good, actually. I do have cards like Phelia, Beanstalk, and Dress Down, and Containment Priest that cost colorless mana, so it's not like a Delver deck where you could just cut all your wastelands because your spells don't actually cost colorless mana, but you can shave on it a little bit. Beanstalk's kind of shitty for this matchup. That's not really what we're doing. Awkward to have 3 green-producing lands in my deck. Oh, I do have Veil. I was about to say with 0 green cards. I am bringing 1 in. We're still alive. I can go down to 1 Plow. It's there if I need it, and I guess I have to Fairy, Phelia, Containment Priest stuff to delete other guys. If my opponent does have a creature juke, and if they don't, then... If they don't, I'd rather have Stony Silence in my deck than Swords to Plowshares. How scared am I of Unstoppable Slasher? Or Barrogoyf? I will begrudgingly leave this 1 Plow in. Okay, handful of juice here. Again, no blue mana. This time I'm going to keep. Double Force is a line I'm willing to draw in the sand. But again, if this was Island, this hand would be insane. Because then Daze and Stifle would be on 2. Or I could even develop Tamiyo on 1. Boggart Bog. Dark Ritual. Whatever. I'm committed to going after the payoff. At all. Balustrade Spy. Alright. Force of Will. I guess I pitch Daze here. Seems like the worst blue card in my hand. Yeah, this sucks because if I had another Force of Will, I could let Pact resolve, but I have to counter Pact here, which means my opponent doesn't just die next turn. I think the Wasteland is worth doing here. And we're going to play Dumbass Magic, which favors my opponent. Very Macabre helps. Yeah, I wish I had that Macabre last turn. 21 lands in the deck. Why would I see one? We're just building up, building back up. This sucks so bad. An island deck. An island, please. There's a Dark Ritual. Cabal Therapy resolves. This is the best Oops player in the world. Are they going to name Fairy Macabre? Nope, named Force of Will. I hope that matters. Missing here. Dark Ritual, number 2. Undercity Informer. And going for it. Okay, what do I have to do here? There's 3 Narcomoebas in the graveyard. Memory's Journey and Thassa's Oracle are both there. I think those are the cards I have to care about. Spirit Guides are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's so annoying. A Spirit Guide plus Jack-O-Lantern actually does just beat my Macabre. And there's exactly 3 Narcomoebas in the deck. Are all the Poxwalkers still here? 1 Poxwalker. Cabal Therapy. Bridge from Below. Where's the other Poxwalker? Did one get boarded out? It sucks how important it is that every one of these details matters. Like, if I can exile 2 Narcomoebas... No, I have to hit the Poxwalker, but the Poxwalker, I lose to that if my opponent has Spirit Guide in hand anyway, because then Jack-O-Lantern cast Memory's Journey triggers Poxwalker over top of the other stuff. Yeah, there's 1 Elvish Spirit Guide unaccounted for. It's possible it was boarded out. It's possible the list only plays 7. I don't know if that's actually possible. I think Memory's Journey and Thassa's Oracle are the cards I have to target here. And we just lose if they have the thing. And they saw it and they went for it, so obviously they could beat it. Yep, there's the Spirit Guide from hand. Memory's Journey puts the Oracle on top of the deck. Or could ignore Oracle and just go shred my hand beat down. Yeah, this game lost because I didn't see a land in 11 cards, and also because I had Force of Negation in my opening hand and not 2 Force of Wills. I would have just won on turn 1 with Force of Will. Memory's Journey targeted Oracle Petal Petal. What my opponent can do here is just beat my hand up and put, like, 10 plus power in play, which means I'm dead to combat, and I'm not going to have a hand, and Thassa's Oracle is happening 2 turns from now. But the other Poxwalker was in the hand. That's even worse. I was dead without that Poxwalker in the mix. They've seen my hand, they know the Stifle is there, which also just doesn't matter. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, they could attack me for 13 twice, and then the turn after that is when they play Thassa's Oracle. All right, you got me. Bad beats versus Oops All Spells. At least we had fun, and Magic was nice. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the play for round 2. I'll keep this hand. It needs some help, but Daze Plow Wasteland or Develop Phelia are all reasonable things to do in a game of Magic, assuming my opponent, unlike my first round opponent, actually wants to play Magic with me. We'll see. Opponent's on a Multa 6. Bloodstained Mire. Okay, they have lands in their deck. Good start. Basic Mountain. Fascinating. Lotus Petal. Oh, is this... What is this? It's like Ruby Storm? Oh my god. Alright, we're gaming. When this artifact enters, you may discard a card. If you do, draw 2 cards. Sacrifice this artifact, create a 2/2 tapped robot. Okay. I think I'm okay with them discarding 2 cards and drawing 2 cards. Okay. Sweet. It's a Sewer Valence Cam deck with some other cool tech in it. I'll pass the turn. I can Plow and Daze. I could hardcast Daze. I could play Phelia and Daze. Got some options. Urza Saga. I have Wasteland for that. Goblin Engineer. Okay. I think letting that resolve is my game. I'd rather develop Phelia. So many better things happen with Phelia in play. And then I can Waste Plow, hold up Daze, attack for 2, all next turn. I've got a Dragon Engine in the bin. I recorded with a Sewer Valence Cam deck the other day, and the worst part of it was by far playing against the card Swords to Plowshares. Just trying to figure out if there was anything cheeky to do, if blinking their Melded Moxite could be useful to me, but unfortunately all of their things have upside ETB abilities. No targets for Phelia. Grizzly Bear. Grizzly Bear with Flash. Force of Will might upgrade this Daze to be better, or it might just be a big blank pile of shit. If I draw a Beanstalk, now things get really interesting. I'm still thinking about that round 1 and how, like, on paper, theoretically insane we are versus Oops All Spells. Stings. You have 2 Force of Wills to survive turn 1, and then you still die 4 turns later through a Fairy Macabre. Cool. Yeah, I'm not, like, malding. I'm just thinking about the format and what you can actually do to combat that. Anything Needle resolves. Okay, this build has Ancient Tomb. When I played Sewer Valence Cam the other day, it was a pretty early list right after the Turtle set came out, and it didn't have Ancient Tombs, and one of my feedback at the end of the match was you might want that. Right, this Pithing Needle can't actually matter. Even if they do just, like, from the top rope name Flooded Strand, I can flicker it out, play Strand, fetch, and move on with life. My only Surveil land is blue-white, which means I can't Surveil and develop my 3rd color here. Wasteland named. Reasonable. Stifle appears. Attack. Flicker nothing. I like that this build of the deck doubled the amount of things you could flicker, and we're still without it, but we're in okay position. Ancient Tomb has doubled my clock. Ellie is a 4/2 now. Deal with it. Urza Saga. Okay, I can counter Chapter 2 with Stifle. That's probably pretty important to me. Ensnaring Bridge. Interesting. I guess I force this. My deck does care a lot about attacking. Do you have Pyroblast in your deck? Are you built like Painter or not? Jeez, alright. That sucks ass. Okay, we've got some work to do now. Phelia is a stinky shitlord. Flooded Strand also a stinky shitlord. Now I can Surveil, though, and still access my other color. All right, is it important to me to counter Chapter 2 now, or is Chapter 3 the fight? Because their constructs can't attack either. Yeah, I think I'm just going to hold my Stifle. Goblin Welder. That's a fucked up last card in your hand. Okay, end of turn, fetch. I need interaction right now. Meticulous Archive. Stifle doesn't help. Big Rips. Quantum Rizzler. All right. That's a bunch more cards. I draw 2 here. Looking for the goods. Oh, sweet relief. Get that welder out of here. And the game continues. That was a close call. I don't think stifling in the Riddler is the play, as their deck is based on activated and triggered abilities. I could still find a home for that, and replaying Riddler from exile next turn is worth some more cards. Oh, shit. I was busy monologuing and forgot the Brainstorm draws 4 right there. That was really bad, actually. All right, I'll figure it out. Yeah, just playing tight. I'm not going to play around a second Pithing Needle. If that's the best they could tutor for here and lock out my Flooded Strand, whatever, I accept. Mox Opal grabbed, and they remain Hellbent. So we're in an Idiot fight where my deck contains Prismatic Ending and Teferi, where I can break the Idiot fight. Okay. Fetch. I think I want Savannah here. No, Trop's probably better, because I have white cards that matter. Right, Grain Revealed, which now tells my opponent there's more going on than they may have thought. And Prismatic Ending getting up to 3 is essential here. They're going to make a 2/2 in response. Sweet. All right, tapped Robot resolves. And I could Brainstorm right now and get an extra card off of that. I don't get extra cards this turn otherwise, but the Riddler's just in play now, so that's fine. All right. Pass. Come on. All right. Another big swing here. Digging up another removal spell. That's not it. Okay, Brainstorm right now. I could play out Phelia, Legend Rule it, play a land, Brainstorm sees an extra card. Is spending that 2 mana worth seeing an extra card? Probably, because I'm dead otherwise. What happens here is Welder gets back Surveillance Cam, which untaps Welder. Then it welds out for Moxite. And then they can loot their deck until they find a win con. Dragon Engine does the same thing, and probably something somewhere in their deck deals direct damage. Okay, I think it is worth the 2 mana to see an extra card here, because the entire game is on the line. All right, Brainstorm. Wow, the last card was the ending. All right. That is a little awkward. So I could Prismatic Ending the Ensnaring Bridge. But that just frees up the constructs. That doesn't even solve my problem. Holy moly, I am in some trouble here. All right. I'll deal with the Goblin. Yeah, I could stifle the Goblin activation, but that doesn't keep me alive, and Phelia can't attack into these 9/9s. Their Ensnaring Bridge is actually saving me right now. All right, making another 2/2 in the end step. That's 2 Welders down. Come on! Chill the fuck out for 1 turn. I'm drawing 4 cards a turn and barely keeping up with your 1. All right. Big Rips. Force of Will. Okay. So I have to stifle the Welder activation this turn. Then I draw 2 cards next turn, and we see what's going on. What's the fucked up thing here, though, is that the Welder can actually just weld out Ensnaring Bridge, and then I'm dead to their combo and to combat. Oh, another one. Yeah, that's normal. That's fine, actually. Actually, I've got it. I know what to do here. All right, that's all 4 Welders, and I'm going to draw 2 cards next turn and hope that one of them can deal with this. This is actually an insane game. Welder, unlike Engineer, though, the entire event is part of the same activated ability. Like, if this was Engineer and they sack Ensnaring Bridge as part of the cost, I stifle that, they still just bash me for 16. That is not how Welder works. It's all the same thing. They can't clear the bridge this turn. They can probably win this game at instant speed. Oh, with 0 cards in hand. Oh no, Dragon Engine. Never mind. Never mind. I was going to say with 0 cards in hand, Melded Moxite doesn't get them anywhere, but Dragon Engine does. Okay. Stifle buys me 1 turn, 2 draw steps, 2 draws. And do you fetch to thin here, or do you have faith in a cantrip showing up? All right, I'm going to play to the possibility of cantrips giving me more action. All right, more action confirmed. Brainstorm draws 4. None of these help. I'll put back the forces, play the land, fetch. I don't think I need basic planes. Okay, so I have multiple ways to draw multiple cards here. The Beanstalk draws 2, and then Quantum Riddler will draw more. All right. Beanstalk to draw 2. Come on, white card. Any white card. We did it. Or, well, the Phelia tried to fuck me on my any white card call out, but we play on. Okay. White, blue, colorless. Teferi will buy me a turn versus Goblin Welder. Do I want to Legend Rule Phelia again for some extra draws? I think I do. Sorry, Phelia. You are pretty bad when the opponent has Ensnaring Bridge. Okay, bounce Goblin Welder, draw 2. We're gaming, baby. All right. I don't have the next Goblin Welder covered, but I do get to draw a lot of cards. What a game. What a battle. Presumably their deck has a Lava Spur Boots or Skateboard in it, and if they draw that card, I just lose, because I can't answer a Hasty Goblin. There are still 3 more spot removal spells in my deck. I've used 2 Plows and a Prismatic Ending. Goblin Engineer, okay. That's a secondary engine. It doesn't go infinite with Sewer Valence Cam, though. It goes pseudo medium. It's like gated by your red sources. Legion Extruder. All right, there's the win con. And now I actually am going to fetch because none of my card draw spells are the card manipulation type. They're all just raw ups, big ups. Okay, Beanstalk. Leaving up as much white mana as I can. Another Beanstalk. All right. Beanstalk. Come on, Swords of Plowshares. Prismatic Ending. Stifle. Stifle's not good enough because now if I stifle the Welder activation, they can flip something else with Engineer into the KM and untap the Welder. Wasteland's not going to matter. I'm going to use it as a mana source here. Draw a trillion cards. 1, 2, 3. Uh-oh, we're not there yet. 4. We're halfway there. And Riddler number 2. My opponent might deck me here. That's not actually possible, right? All right, 2 Swords to Plowshares have arrived. Plow, Goblin, Welder. Plow, Goblin, Engineer. I'm just not even fucking with that. And Prismatic Ending remains in my deck somewhere. And when I find it, I get to attack. I will have a lot of flyers, though. With 15 cards in my deck, playing a Riddler eliminates a third of my deck. So if I play both Riddlers, this is crazy. All right, what do you got here? I hope it's something I can Force of Negate, because I actually am not that excited about Force of Willing. Okay. Phyrexian Dragon Engine escaped. That will be allowed to attack, and so will the robot tokens. Like, they could kill Teferi here if they want to. And those robot tokens aren't doing anything, so you might as well. Melded Moxite. Do I care about this? I don't think so. Oh, and that makes it so they can't attack. All right, cool. Oh, no, because you get to draw again. Oh, discard a card, draw 2. This is not what I thought it was. I thought this card was like Fable the Mirror Breaker, where you discard 1, you draw 1. Yeah, I probably should have countered that, actually. Oh, I didn't lose Teferi. Wow. Why not? Those robots are not worth more than Teferi. Okay, I'll take it. Wasteland plus Teferi. Teferi bouncing Ensnaring Bridge can do a lot of work. If I play Quantum Riddler, I draw 4 cards. I'll have 10 left in my deck. My opponent is at 9. I could play Tameo, flip Tameo here. That gets back a Prismatic Ending. All right, let's go. We're going into the basement. Using every card. Flip Tameo. And full of gas now. 10 cards left. Plus, if I play the other Quantum Riddler, I have lethal, but I have 5 cards in my deck. Or, yeah, I'll have 5 cards in my deck, which means if I Force of Will, I'm actually still okay. Yeah, pile it in. Let's go. This puts me to 6 cards. My draw step will put me to 5. Minusing Teferi will put me to 4, which means if I Force of Will, I'll have 1 card left in my deck. And I don't need to draw the other Prismatic Ending because it's It's in the graveyard. Okay, clean up. Land, land, Phelia, Tameo. Don't expect Daze to do much here. Can't play this Quantum Riddler or I lose, so I can put that one away. Sure, Daze. Alright. Handful of blue cards and forces. Lethal on board, but I'll deck myself if it doesn't work. All of their welders are accounted for. There's 3 in exile and 1 in the graveyard. I can force a negation Agatha's Soul Cauldron. If they have a Pyroblast, I could force a negation that. Like, Pyroblast on Tameo gets around the Prismatic Ending. Pyroblast on Teferi. Oh, wow, you're also a Painter deck, huh? Fascinating. Okay, so if they... There's 2 cards left in hand. If they Pyroblast their own Ensnaring Bridge, I can counter that with Force of Negation. I think I'm okay here. 2 cards in hand. Grindstone, Force of Negation, that, pitching Brainstorm. Yeah, Grindstone actually might kill me even without Painter here. And they can't blast to protect this because I have Teferi. And they tapped Ancient Tomb this turn, which means killing a Quantum Riddler is not good enough. They just lost life or something. Post-mortem lunge. Oh, wow, sick tech. Okay, this is old modern tech from the Death Shadow era. Return target creature with mana value X or less from the graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste, exile at the end step. That's awesome. All right, force, pitching, stifle. I go to 3 cards in my deck, but then we win. The lunge, wow. I'm excited to see that. Yeah, last week when I played the Sewer Valence deck, I acknowledged that it's early in this deck's existence, and I imagine the tech will evolve, and Postmortem Lunge is exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. Okay, opponent is dead on board. Return Prismatic Ending from my graveyard to my hand. Make sure to cast it for 3 and not for 5 by accident. 1, 2, 3 colors on that one. Get rid of Ensnaring Bridge. Attack for 12 flying. What a game. And that game was only a game because my opponent drew all 4 of their Goblin Welders in a row in a spot where I was otherwise in complete control. However, it was an awesome game. Hydroblast looks good. Soul Guide Lantern. I actually like that because historically Soul Guide Lantern's kind of weird to bring in versus Painter because it's like they have some graveyard stuff, but also it doesn't really matter. This deck is very much graveyard stuff all around. Maybe even to the point that I'm interested in Fairy Macabre. Is that true? Consigned to Memory. Most of their important spells are not colorless. We saw Painter Servant, and that's about it. Dress Down I like. That mops up construct tokens, and if you can snag a Painter on the way in, it doesn't get to name a color. 2 pretty powerful things. Force of Negation probably stinks. Daze probably stinks. This game's going to go long, as we just saw. I like some amount of Stifle, but not that much. Beanstalk, the hero we needed there. Teferi and Narset are both, I would describe as medium fine. Though this build does have a lot more card draw, like those Moxites. That's very different than Painter decks of the past. Maybe it's Tameo? I don't want to overexpose myself to a Pyroblast, is the problem. Okay, here we go. I'm doing it like this. But this deck is so fast, unlike Painter. Like Painter, you would cut your Force of Wills against because it's so bad to get red blasted. But here, I don't even know if that's how we play anymore because this deck can win on turn 2. Opponent's on 6 cards. Great Furnace. Goblin Welder. There's that boy. I will be Swords to Plowing it. And I'm going to fetch basic planes just in case. If I get Blood Moon juked and could have played around it, I'm going to feel very silly. My hand is phenomenal if the game doesn't end on turn 2 or 3. Saga. Engineer. All right. Drawing another plow here would be perfect. Dragon Engine to the bin. Okay. I'm probably going to Wasteland this turn. If they have Ancient Tomb in hand, I'm going to wish I wasted the Urza Saga. If they don't, then I'm going to be pretty happy going after Great Furnace. I think I'm just going to take out the Saga. If the Engineer wants to sack their only land to discard their hand and draw 3 cards, whatever. Lotus Petal. And that's probably worth a Dragon Engine. And this Dragon Engine stays. This is a 2-2 double strike forever. Okay, trading out the hand, developing a 2-2 double strike. That's a real clock. Painter Servant and Sewer Valence Scam hit the bin. Ancient Tomb, found. Lotus Petal, 1 card left over there. The 3 cards you drew were Ancient Tomb, Lotus Petal, Magus of the Moon. Come on now. Well, at least I fetched the basic planes. Force of Will, that's right when I wanted it. Cool. All right, I'm in some trouble. What a fucking ridiculous rip. Yeah, I make a lot of joke about Moto Premium. This opponent has definitely paid for it. Drawing 4 Goblin Welders in a row, game 1, and then 3 random cards give you Ancient Tomb, Lotus Petal, Magus of the Moon. Holy moly. And this is a serious clock. This is 7 damage in play. It looks like they're going to rotate Dragon Engine into Cam, which can then rotate into Painter. Or back into Dragon Engine. Oh, yeah, this is just the engine. Cool. Yeah, even the reduced capacity of Goblin Engineer compared to Goblin Welder, this is still insane when your opponent's not doing anything. And none of these are spells. This Force Will in my hand. A little late. Needed it on that Magus of the Moon. Oh, we found Chaos Defiler. Cool. At least they can't reanimate that one with what they got. Still stuck under the Blood Moon. Yeah, the take 6 a turn and opponent Ancestral Recalls every turn while I can't cast spells is not a good place to be. I think it's safe to say. Grindstone. Okay, so now they're also presenting a Painter win. I guess I'll force that, pitching Riddler. Slow it down a little bit, though now I'm dead on board. I was dead on board anyway if they attacked with the Engineer. All right, GG. The miracle for Phyrexia Dragon Engine. Okay. Stifle, Consign. These are cards I could consider. Did I not bring in Fairy Macabre? I thought I did. Maybe I didn't. Oh, clearly I didn't. It's because it's over there. Containment Priest. Sewer Valence Scam is not a creature, or else this would be incredible. I'm not bringing in Containment Priest. That's not what we're doing. Yeah, I don't think Fairy Macabre improves the game. I just needed 1 turn to do anything that game. Here we go. Keep this. Pass the turn. Opponent kept 7 this time. Now we've seen the Blood Moon. We know it's in there. Suspected it last game. Confirmed now. Oh, main phase Thundering Falls. Oh, I guess they've seen Stifle in my deck, though I could have stifled it. They're not even playing around Stifle. They're just playing into Wasteland. Okay. Whatever. You've got an Opal, a Petal. There's more things happening. That Petal works, the Opal doesn't. I think I have to get Meticulous Archive here, even though Basic Island would mean I never have to care about Blood Moon at all. But my hand is 3 colors, so what are you going to do? Stifle to the bin. I'm not a believer. Wasteland. I think I'm just going to play out Trop and have double Hydroblast or develop Phelia available as options here. Welder is okay to resolve. The Moxite is here. I'm okay with that resolving too. Discarded Painter to draw 2 cards. And an end step Phelia. Swords of Plowshare is even better than Hydroblast. Plow the Welder. Wasteland. And attack for 2. All right, we're back in that game 1 position where Phelia, old Grizzly Bear going nuts. I'll take your Mox Opal, sucker. Got him. Targeting Mox Opal there doesn't actually do anything, but it feels so bad to have Phelia in play for an entire match and never actually exile anything. Ancient Tomb. Goblin Engineer. Counter target spell if it's red. I'm just going to bonk that out before it even gets to tutor. Okay, we're gaming. Brainstorm. I think I would like to brainstorm and see if I could find something to do with Phelia. Or just more Phelias, yeah, that's cool. All right, Phelia and Plow to the top. I tapped my white there instead of my green because I was giving myself the out to draw up the Beanstalk. I want this Wasteland to be on Urza Saga duty, as much as I don't love leaving my opponent with Ancient Tomb kicking around. All right, well, rewarded. I'll take that out before it knows how to make mana. Another Moxite. This turns on Mox Opal. Right, I'm actually going to counter this one, which might be aggressive, but I still have Force of Will, and it seems like my opponent is struggling a little bit, and I don't really want that Mox Opal to turn on. Attack for 2. I'm not going to cast this Brainstorm. I'm going to sit here with Force and Plow available. That covers most of the things their deck can do. Urza Saga. Oh god, there it is. Yeah, Urza Saga is the thing that is not covered by what I'm doing. There's the second Phelia. Is it brainstorm time? I think I would like to brainstorm now. My hand's pretty bad. Okay, Phelia's out. Plow is on top, and I can Wasteland the Saga. Wasteland the Urza Saga. Floating mana. Okay, what's that doing? Oh, you can make a tap 2/2, but I can exile it? Nope, that's not. Oh, that is what's happening. Interesting. That doesn't make sense at all. All right, yeah, opponent could have done that with the mountain. Oh, now I just get free removal. That was just a processing error, I think, of I have floating mana, I should use it. And the token enters tap, so there's not a window to activate this after Phelia is committed to attack, but before we can blink it out. There we go. Wow. What a crazy battle. The losing round 1 with double force Fairy Macabre in my hand into the all 4 Goblin Welders into the Dragon Engine that hit 3 mana plus Blood Moon. If this is going to be the pace of this match or this league today, I'm already tired. I want to stop. Let's do it. On to the next round.
The NYSE Open is returning on June 6, 2026 to Long Island, New York. This proxy-friendly vintage tournament has the guaranteed prize pool of 8 pieces of Power 9 to be drafted by the top 8 based on final standings. Any additional profits made from the event will be added to the prize pool as on-site vendor credit. This tournament has been great the last 2 years. How often do you get to act sad about winning just a time walk? You know I'll be there. See you at the NYSE Open on June 6 on Long Island, New York. Use my link in the video description or find the New York Stacks Exchange on melee.gg.
I'm on the draw for round 3 with a hand that doesn't work. I'm going to mulligan. All right, here we go. This looks like the Magic I want to play in my life. I'm going to bottom Wasteland and focus on playing Magic. Curse is mine. Cool. I love when Wasteland's on the bottom. Oh, they're going to turn it off anyway. That's fine. That's fine. The genius, that was, I think, the fastest 0 to 10 back to 0 I've ever been. Yeah, bottom Wasteland. It's the most situational card. Curse is mine. Yes, Pithing Needle. Woo! All right, unfortunately, Tamio is my blue card in my hand. I can't develop her here because there's a good chance I'm going to need to counter some shit next turn. Sorceress Spyglass, goddamn. All right, well, that can name Flooded Strand, which actually matters. Okay, I'm going to fetch Meticulous Archive in response, and if there's a land that's not Flooded Strand on top of my deck, I can let this resolve. Brainstorm on top of the deck. I think I want that in the graveyard. Hate to say it. All right, so they could name Flooded Strand here. I could roll the dice and just, like, let that happen. That's so fucking frustrating. All right, it's fine. It's fine. I'll force it. I'll get my Beanstalk online. Force a negation. It's not what I was hoping for, but I am going to go up the Beanstalk here. The decision to play Beanstalk versus Phelia here is actually interesting, but having drawn Force and giving myself a chance to spike a blue card, that's something. Yep, here's this one ring. Yeah. And unfortunately, Flooded Strand was my next land. That is the land I would have drawn next, so they would have just sniped 2 of them. All right, what do I do here? There's not a lot of action. I could exile this Grim Monolith. I think I am going to do that. That makes a lot of their stuff worse, but this window closed. Sorceress freaking Spyglass, folks. Right. Voltaic Key is here. That's more action off of the One Ring. This Urza's Workshop just turned on. Taps for 4. Got actual Tron going nuts over there. Karn with 2 mana left. Cityscape Leveler. Yeah, straight to the roof. Okay, suddenly remembered they can draw 3 more cards. Started passing the turn, then was like, oh wait, Ancestral Recall. Stifle. That's not nothing, but it's also barely anything. I'm going to exile Voltaic Key, I guess. I refuse to give up. Opponent's at 16. They could lattice me this turn, but I can force a negation that, then play Phelia and pick off Karn. It's weird they grabbed this Leveler last turn, though. But that's the thing about Tron. It barely matters. Okay, Candelabra, let's go. Trinisphere. All right, I'm dead. Yep, One Ring is good against fair blue decks. One Ring makes Up the Beanstalk look like garbage. Stony Silence, Consign to Memory. These cards matter. All my forces matter. Daze seems like garbage. Stifle could counter like a ring activation or something. They're not really on fetch lands, though. That's the wrong card. I don't want to cut Brainstorm. Stifle. Maybe these Swords to Plowshares are worse than some of the blue cards. I don't know if they're going to have Glaring Flesh Rakers with this particular build. I guess I'll respect it a little bit. Okay, let's go. Tough matchup here. I do have the Wastelands, but they've shown that they have more than the normal number of Pithing Needles because they also have Sorcerer's Spyglass. This hand is very bad. I'll mulligan it. Right, this hand might be great. I'll keep it. I'm going to bottom one of the Flooded Strands and play the other one. I will not lose another game to Sorcerer's Spyglass today. Tower, Candelabra, okay. That could get disgusting next turn, but I'm not excited about interacting with it. Archive, Flooded Strand. I'll take it, I guess. I'm going to need mana eventually. Fetch for Savannah. Let's get my colors rounded out. All right, that was the tap out of Consign to develop the Beanstalk, and we'll see where this goes. Our opponent has access to 6 mana here. No thanks. Fuck off with that shit. I'll draw a card. Stifle. That's a blue card for Force of Negation. Tamiyo. All right. That's something. Tamiyo's in. Can Tamiyo beat infinite mana? Oh, yeah. The second tower. The second tower has hit the tower. All right. Counter that one. Do you have a third one? Because I do have a third counter spell. Oh, baby. All right. I'm hellbent. Opponent's got 3 cards in their hand and infinite mana. I am way behind in this game, despite having an incredible first 3 turns. Well, that one is hard to be upset about when I have Tamiyo in play. All right, Brainstorm needs to be good. A Wasteland is excellent here. Riddler and Phelia. All right. I think I want to riddle and just draw trillions of cards and hope I survive this turn. Okay, so I draw the Stifle, then I draw the Phelia +1 new one. And drop. All right, can Stifle buy me a turn? Should I Stifle in this Quantum Riddler? That's actually interesting. I think the answer is no, unfortunately, as much as I would love to do that. Because then I'd be at 1 card in hand next turn and draw 2 as well, but I could die to so many things here. And Karn is just solo lethal. Oh, the 3rd tower, let's go. All right, do I think they need all this mana? I'm going to Stifle the Candelabra activation and hope they actually needed 15 mana or whatever. I can also just lose to some 7 drop here, but at least it won't be a 20 drop. Wow, pass with 6 mana floating. They must have like Ulamog in their hand. That's the only thing I can really think of. Okay. Play the island. Get back. Consign to memory. It's got to be my best weapon here. And I can't tap out to play Quantum Riddler right now. I could draw a card with Clue, but I could do that anytime. I have a lot of ways to spend mana at instant speed here. Saga. 3 cards left. Trinisphere. That has to be fine. End step. Phelia. Plus Clue. If they have Kozilek's Command, that's pretty obnoxious. Okay. Play Tropical Island. Plus Tamiyo. Warp Riddler. Draw a bunch. And I'm still holding up Consign. Now I have 2 Consigns. Attack. Blink the Riddler. If my opponent has 2 spells in a turn, I'm dead. The Trinisphere is going to stop that from doing what I need it to. My Kingdom for Wasteland. Versus Workshop. 2 cards left in hand. I can't get to 1 card in hand anyway, so like jamming off this Phelia in the end step is not something I'm considering. I am going to delete Tamiyo because this game is not going to go that long. Delete Tamiyo targeting Stifle. That's so Phelia can attack here. If they make the construct in response, might be out of luck. But I did leave in Swords to Plowshares. Oh, that's fucked up. Yeah, multiple constructs. Didn't occur to me. Yep. Powerful interaction. All right, now you have 2 4/4s. I have Stifle in my hand. That may or may not matter. Okay, so now the play is attack and blink out a construct. And then I'll plow the other one. Or I could just play a fresh Phelia and take the trade. Yeah, I think that's actually fine. Okay. I don't love that, but it's going to have to be fine. Yeah, I wish I knew I was drawing another Consign to memory immediately because this Trinisphere is properly awful for me at this point. Okay, you have a construct. I'm going to fetch. Just fetching ahead of Pithing Needle, even though I don't think Pithing Needle is actually good here. Or at least it wouldn't name Windswept if they got it. It would name Wasteland. A Manifold Key. Gotten with that. The One Ring. Counter it. Replicate counts for Trinisphere, by the way. I just countered it once and then paid 2 extra when I could have replicated it and countered it 3 times. I don't think it matters against this deck. It's just, I want to point out that's a thing. All right. End step Phelia. Please don't have Kozilek's command. Successfully untap. Let's go. Attack, blink out the construct. Pushing through that double duty candelabra business is pretty sick here. And I'm still holding 2 counter spells. Pass. I fended off 3 One Rings so far this game. Emrakul. Okay, so I can counter the extra turn trigger at least. Can't counter the girl herself. And it looks like I'm going to be 2 damage short of winning this game. Or I could block and consign the... Okay. I would need to... Okay, I can play Wasteland, and then now I have enough mana to play another Riddler. So it's attack for 6, blink out Emrakul, counter the Annihilate trigger, block. I might not even need to counter the Annihilate trigger. Oh, they have fucking Manifold Key. No, I lose. Manifold Key targeting... Oh, no, I counter the return Emrakul to play trigger. Figured it out. Everyone settle down. All right. That also exists. Cast with Replicate. What is going on here? All right. I tried to replicate it, and Moto was doing something weird, so I'll just cast it normal. Okay. Opponent's at 2. The Emrakul is accounted for. They have trillions of mana. Sorcerer's Spyglass. Yeah, take a look. Wowie! All right. Almost botched that one. I almost forgot Manifold Key was in play when actually the Phelia thing was just the correct play anyway. Sweet. Okay. Seeing the Candelabra plus Saga business makes me actually want Dress Down in here. I think Swords to Plowshares can come out. Dress Down plus Plow actually does answer Emrakul. All right. Crazy matchup, horrible matchup. But I did just defeat them without drawing a single Wasteland. This one has Wasteland, but is otherwise bad. I think I'm going to let it ride. See if they have the turn 1 Pithing Needle on me. Not this time. Okay, I'm going to Misty Rainforest to play around Spyglass. The problem is that Power Plant sucks, and I don't actually want to use my Wasteland on it. Nexus, this is 3 mana. Candelabra, this is still 3 mana. Yep, there's the Spyglass. Could have been ahead of that, but it would have wasted Urza's Power Plant when Nexus is the important one. Opponent just sequencing correctly here. That's probably going to cost the game. Hate to say it. All right, if I could draw Force of Will right now, we're still gaming. Another Beanstalk. Okay, here we go. How powerful is their hand? They had the counterplay, multiple power plants, Grim Monolith, 6 in the pool. Karn, okay. Karn can cast a 4-drop right now if they untap the 2 power plants with Candle. Is there a One Ring in exile? Did I go through all of the 3 main deck ones last game? Karn grabbed Coding, okay. I mean, not okay. Very bad, actually, but not literally dead outright. They get to freeze my Tundra. Phelia, are you good? Phelia could handle Lattice if they just go all in next turn. Okay, I think I have to try to develop this Phelia. I mean, this Karn might just get Cityscape Leveler or some bullshit, or it might just start eating up my lands. There's a lot of things that might happen here. Karn making a wish. Cityscape Leveler confirmed. Urza's mine. Tapping a bunch of shit. Leveler, when it's cast, exiles my Beanstalk. That happens. I get a Power Stone that I can't use. All right, end step Phelia. Let's go. Big draws, big draws. A Stifle would be great. That's not a Stifle. All right, I'm going to cast Beanstalk before combat. See if I can find a way to keep the Cityscape Leveler gone. Doesn't look like it. Attack. You attack Karn, flicker out the Leveler. I do have to at least deal with Karn because that turns off the coding. This Leveler is going to be trouble. Second main, Riddler flips Tamio, who doesn't matter because she's going to die anyway. Drop Riddler, draw a bunch of cards, flip Tamio, draw a land. Riddler draws Brainstorm. I have one Power Stone, but that's not enough to activate my clues. Yeah, this Leveler is going to come back. It's going to attack Tamio and bonk Phelia. I guess it's possible that they value Beanstalk over Phelia, but I can't imagine. They could kill Beanstalk or Phelia and attack Tamio. Okay, they have chosen Beanstalk. Fair enough. Tamio's gone. Must have a Kozilek's command or some other answer here. Trinisphere. Makes everything worse. Oh god, one card left in hand, and it's a good one. You're still tapping mana. What if that was just a land? Let's imagine a universe where the ramp deck that disrupted me twice, presented multiple threats, didn't also just have some 8-mana banger as their last card in hand. We know that's impossible because this league, it's clearly fuck me in particular day. Yeah, they have Kozilek's command, which was indicated by them not blowing up the Phelia. That was basically face up. And exiling my creature, scrying X. Just scry 6 to the top. That's the vibe today. 1 top, 5 bottom. Okay. I guess we could consider that a little bit fortunate. I'm going to use these Power Stones you gave me. Moral victory. And then I'll concede. Yeah, all right. What a nightmare. On to the next round. Today is going to be tough.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks. And groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I am on the play in round 4. This hand's so close to being good. I'm going to keep this. The reason is that this hand is so good if it hits a land, and it's not that bad if it misses either. Like, obviously, if I just pass turn 2 without a play, that's going to be pretty stinky. But with the ability to force twice to get myself to that next land, I could afford to miss once. Opponent mull to 5. All right. Let's hope I can get a Stifle Cheese or something here. A Wasteland. Well, I guess I'm playing around that. Big draws. Always had it. Magic's easy. I think, actually, it's okay getting Wastelanded here. If I get to develop up the Beanstalk versus someone who mulled to 5 and then they waste me on the draw, deal. I don't care. I'm going to get Trop and Tundra and play up the Beanstalk. I am now in kind of the bully position. Beanstalk resolves. Phelia's here. Yeah, an opponent who mulled to 5 might not even be able to afford to wasteland me if they need this card to cast spells. Eldrazi Temple. Okay, yeah, if this is Eldrazi, they may not be able to hit me here. Their spells tend to cost 3 to 6 mana. Kozilek's command, digging for action. This is actually awesome because I can force some negation that and save my Force of Will for something real. And they spent Simian Spirit Guide doing that. Okay. Chillin'. Plan to develop Phelia. Cavern of Souls could be a tough beat here. I could stifle the Wasteland if I think that's better than just developing Phelia and attacking, which I'm not convinced of. Okay. Time to make the decision. I guess I can be patient. Stifle that. There's not a lot of targets for Stifle in this matchup. I mean, Eldrazi all have ETB abilities, but that's not really where I'm looking to put a Stifle when the resources are this low. I would like to... Fuck. I was about to say I'd like to counter the entire Eldrazi. Cavern of Souls has appeared. And an uncounterable Flesh Raker. That explains why my opponent wanted to take me off white. But your boy is ready. Plow that. Always had it. Actually, if I always had it, I would have stifled with the Tropical Island, so my opponent could probably reasonably deduce that I just drew that. What do we got now? Thought Not Seer. Well, Stifle. Here you go, big guy. Stifle worth a card. Basic Island. We're gaming. Okay, pass. Now it's really up to how good are these last two cards in my opponent's hand. My opponent's Multi 5 has done a lot of damage to me, and I am not much better off for it. Their last card in hand is always Kozilek's Command. It just always is. I still have to play Phelia, though, because this is the plan that I have. And they're going to catch me with Kozilek's Command or Dismember or some shit card that I could Force of Will in a spot where I don't have blue. Guaranteed. Here it comes. Yeah, that's been the theme for today. I can't even be upset. It's just, if my opponents are just always going to have the perfect card after like mulling to 5, because at this point it's turn 5. The Multi 5 has fully flushed its course. They've drawn 4 random cards since then, and they happen to be Cavern of Souls, Kozilek's Command, something that makes me spend a Force, or something that makes me spend a Plow. I don't have the blue card for the Force right now, which would be actually perfect. They topped the Scry. Fuck yeah. Prismatic Ending doesn't work on Thought Not Seer because I don't have enough colors in my deck. Yeah, this game is over. I don't think there's a reasonable way to come back from this. I guess, like, drawing Riddler cantrips into Stifle, then I just have the biggest creature in play and they don't have a follow-up. That's how I could still play this game. Glaring Fleshraker. And Chalice on 1. Okay, the Chalice on 1 is moderate disruptive. That takes me off the Stifle out. Yeah, it takes me off that Brainstorm as well. I could go the other route. All right, I'm actually going to exile the Chalice here and try to Brainstorm into playing the game rather than exiling the Fleshraker and try to play through the Chalice. Brainstorm. Go back Force and Daze. They are not going to help me. Tameo. These are the cards my opponent has known. They drew through both of the top cards from the command. Oh, what they draw this turn is now wild. I go to 5, and fetching will put me to 4, which means I'm dead to Thought Knot for the rest of the game, but I do need the Surveil. They didn't draw Kozilek's Command, or I would be dead already. They could have exiled Tameo, made a bunch of dopes, attack for lethal. It's also not the Line Breaker. Okay, Eldrazi Temple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're 1 mana away from starting to pump out dopes with Abundant Countryside. A Meticulous Archive. Show me the Riddler. Oh my god. Oh my god. Do you believe? Okay, attack with Tameo first, because she's going to flip when I play Riddler anyway. Not available as a blocker. And Riddler, draw, Stifle, and opponent bricks off forever, and we play on. Riddler, draw from Beanstalk. Riddler, draw 2 from Riddler. 3 fetch lands? Deck Y. Okay, plus Tameo. Play Misty Rainforest. And then crack the Clue. I'm going to try to do this without fetching, because 1 life might matter here. Oh, okay. 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 Plow the Thought Knot, which also draws a card. Find the Stifle right now. Die a Legend. Oh, they have Spawn. Okay, yeah, they were actually... They can turn the 0/1 into a 1/1 and deal 1 damage to me right now with Countryside. Okay, that's fine. I'm not convinced Changeling is better than Spawn here, because I have Tameo emblem up anyway. Okay. Passing the turn. They can attack me to 2. Most spells kill me here. And lands can make Abundant Countryside shifters. But basically all the cards in their deck are good here. Lotus Petal. I'm at 1. Remember when I didn't fetch last turn? Because I said that 1 life might matter? Look at me at 1 life right now. Behold! Because attacking my face is certainly correct. Oh, and they can make a Spawn right now. I'm actually dead. Or a Shapeshifter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, the Lotus Petal was like a land that also dealt 2 to me instead of 1. Lotus Petal might have been... I'm not going to say it was the best draw in their deck, because obviously they have fucking, like, Line Breakers, Reality Smashers, Kozilek's Commands. But this one specifically, not being a land, actually does kill me. And that hero moment happened, I think, 1 turn too late. I'm at, like, 6 instead of 2 right now. I'm feeling good about this game, but obviously that's not the game we're playing. They always have the second Kozilek's Command. Okay, Consign to Memory. Force of Negation out. Narset out. Stifle is pretty mediocre. Dress Down does some stuff in the matchup. Daze gets bad really quick, but it's kind of fine in the early game. I could bring in the Priest for Phelia interaction. They're not cheating creatures into play, but I could cheat them out of play. But I have 6 Stifles in my deck that can also do that. Okay, I think these are the changes. I don't see space for the Dress Down unless I want to cut a Daze, but I don't want to do that on the play. This league overall and this matchup we're in now just kind of shows how hard these Beanstalk decks are working. And when you could just do stuff like cast Barugoyf or cast Show and Tell in this format or cast Balustrade Spy, it's just really tough to believe in wanting to go this grindy, this crazy. Oh, this hand is shit. I'm going to mulligan this. That doesn't do anything. Okay, this one is solid. I'm going to keep and should probably bottom one of the Beanstalks. But what I am going to do is bottom Flooded Strand. Or 1 damage could matter, as we've pointed out. If their turn 1 is Chalice Pass, I want to be able to Surveil. And if their turn 1 is a creature, I want to be able to plow it. No, alright, it's the second Beanstalk that goes to the bottom. The land situation is just too tenuous versus this Wasteland deck. Drowsy Temple, Lotus Petal. Okay, this is the best thing they could have done for me, other than nothing, because this one I could just cleanly plow and move on with life. And I kept the extra land in my opener, so I don't have to play around Wasteland here with the basic planes. Quantum Riddler. If I don't get my Thoughts Knotted next turn, that's a pretty good card to have. Wasteland's also a good card to have. All right, the pieces are here. How nuts is your follow-up? We're still in the early game. Eldrazi keeps on the strength of the cards they can see, because that's all their deck does. I expect them to have something reasonable here. Come on, Chalice on 2, 1 time. Yeah, this is Thought Not Seer mana. Oh, okay. Little cheeky Kozilek's Command. Just looking for some cards. I can play with that. And they went top, bottom. Found 1 card they like there. All right, I'm going to Warp Riddler and draw my 2 cards first. If I find a Stifle, that might be better than Wasteland here. And I have the option to see first. All right, I consign. That's like Stifle. I could just consign their next play. That does exist. Or I could keep this Quantum Riddler in play. I think I'm going to keep the Quantum Riddler in play. A 4/6 just invalidates so many of the things they might try to do in a turn. And if they have just like land Kozilek's Command, exile Quantum Riddler, and play on, I can accept that. But Dismember doesn't kill this. It's bigger than Thought Knot. It's bigger than Reality Smasher. Well, it touches butts with Reality Smasher, and then we move on with our day. Okay, Wasteland on my green. My green has already done what the green in my deck does. I'm extremely pro getting Wastelanded here, because that's a land that doesn't cast some dumb thing. That means we're out of range of Kozilek's Command now. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Could have exiled my Quantum Riddler, and instead chose to Wasteland me and draw some cards. Alright. That's either insane respect for Force of Will, or insane disrespect for Quantum Riddler. Top the cards. Yep, that's how this league goes. Why would my opponent ever look at a card they don't love? Chalice, fine. Okay. This Wasteland in my hand looks pretty good. I am, once again, going to Riddler first. Take my draw 2. A Force of Will is a welcome sight here. Most other cards are bad. Yeah, the Chalice gets ahead of the Stifle, unfortunately. Stifling in the second Riddler. What a world that would be. I'm wasting Eldrazi Temple because I want their land to hurt them. This is going to be a damage race, and that's how I damage them. My hand is currently blank, and it's really hard to get down to 1 card in hand with this many lands here, especially now that Brainstorm can't clear them. I really need my opponent to just fall apart over there with no good plans. Fleshraker is pretty nice. Prismatic Ending is a card I would like to draw. Force doesn't even really help anymore because they came up with a Cavern. Disruptor Flute, alright. What's that gonna name? They're gonna get ahead of Wasteland? Future Wastelands? Burrow Titan of Nature's Wrath, sure. That costs more now. It'll make it very hard for me to cast, especially since it's not in my deck. Meticulous Archive. Don't need another Misty Rainforest. Attack for 4. This is it, team. Send it till one of us dies. Opponent's at 9. I hope they draw a bunch more Disruptor Flutes and Chalice of the Voids and not things that actually kill me. Attack for 2. Dismember is funny because they lose 4 life to not take 4 in combat and my creature doesn't die. It's as if they didn't do anything at all. Consign to Memory. Banger. Okay, big swing. Yeah, how bad that last turn was for them makes me feel pretty good now. Now if they tap Ancient Tomb, they're dead on board. Something's happening in the end step, another flute. Okay, I don't think the 1 damage is going to make a huge difference this time. So I will just fetch a Tropical Island. And I could still cast Consign to Memory even though it costs 3 more. Oh, wait. What? Hold on. No, I can't because they would get countered by the Chalice. Interesting. Wow, the double layer of hate piece. If they name Consign here, they actually are good to go. Because this is not like Trinisphere. The spell costs 3 more. It doesn't make it cost 3. Okay, they named Phelia. We're fine. That's actually interesting. Having exactly 4 mana with Disruptor Flute on Consign and a Chalice on 1 actually does do what it needs to do. Nice, they've had enough. Cool. I think in that end step, I was going to fire Brainstorm just into nothing and try to make my hand smaller. That is something you can do. Okay, now Days on the Draw versus Dress Down. Dress Down can buy me a turn of damage versus a Fleshraker, buy me a turn of mana versus spawns. Thought Not Seer, it's good against. It can knock haste off of a line breaker, but it does cost 2, which is a lot. Force of Negation is not a card I actually like against them. However, they have shown me that they boarded in a bunch of Disruptor Flutes in addition to having the Chalices that they play anyway. And Chalice is quite good versus a lot of the stuff I'm trying to do. I think I'm going to shave a Stifle to get Force of Negation back in. And this is just a little extra Chalice protection because I have 2 Prismatic Endings into Fairy that can remove Chalice once it's there. I have Consign that can push through it. Okay, well, we're going to test this one of Days. It's in my opening hand and I'm not going to mulligan. The Dress Down I boarded in over the second Days is also in my opening hand. Bonus on 6. I have Ugin as the first land of the game is always a mixed bag because on the one hand it doesn't cast spells, but on the other hand it casts a lot of spells on turn 2. All right, passing. I hope I have a breather here to get my Meticulous Archive, but I don't suspect that'll be the case. All right, I can Daze this, which is probably what I should do. Does that mean I get Meticulous Archive and then Daze? No, I think I get... It might just be Basic Island. My hand functions on Basic Island pretty close to well enough. All right, Daze. I left in 1, and it did something. If they pitch a Spirit Guide to pay for it, I'll just follow through with the Consign. Okay, cool. Yeah, Fleshraker plus Eye of Ugin is not a combo I can abide by. And I think these Consigns are better to hold up than developing Tamiyo. Ancient Tomb. Counter that Chalice of the Void. 3 cards left in opponent's hand. Oh, no follow-up even with an Eye of Ugin. That's crazy. Come on, land. Brainstorm. I'll try it. B-Storm. Risk it for the biscuit. The biscuit has betrayed me! Well, fuck. That sucks. I do have 2 forces, though. One of them is useful against their deck. The other is not. Another Countryside. Glaring Fleshraker. Absolutely not. Force pitching Dress Down, I guess. Is Teferi worse than Dress Down? Yeah, I don't think I'm going to have 3 mana this game. Okay, so here I draw a Beanstalk, and I'm just going to pass holding up Consign, because they don't have Cavern, and they haven't double spelled yet. Eldrazi Temple. Lotus Petal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They cannot quite activate Eye of Ugin here. I'm just going to take the draw, pick up the Beanstalk again, and I'm going to go for the Brainstorm now. These are 3 fresh cards. Basic Plains, holy shit, my life sucks. Okay. Oh, that's bad. Okay. Well, that 3-color deck, that gamble that I mentioned in deck building, is now fully on display. It just passed the turn, though. What is going on over there? I don't know, but I'm going to try to develop Phelia this turn. and Force of Negation can clip. If they're sitting on like a big Eldrazi or Kozilek's Command, I was about to say Eldrazi Confluence. That card I like. Kozilek's Command sucks ass. If they're sitting on a big Kozilek's Command, trying to save it for when I develop Phelia, this Force of Negation is going to be perfect. Lotus Petal. Okay, they can now activate Eye of Ugin once. 2 cards in hand. End step Phelia. They have to be holding reactive cards. That's the only thing that makes any sense. Like, if it's not Kozilek's Command, it's probably Dismember. Something's happening in response to Phelia. Disruptor Flute. Okay. Yeah, there's the reactive card. Box checked. What are you naming with that? I also noticed they just drifted under 5 minutes on their clock. That's weird. Okay. Proactively turned off Quantum Riddler. I think I'm supposed to just attack with Phelia here and not do anything. I'll exile your Lotus Petal. Got your ass. This Dress Down is a cantrip at worst and might clip a Thought-Knot Seer on the way down at best. And holding up Consign when they're clearly struggling to get ahead feels good. Okay. I think I want a second main Dress Down, because I don't want it in play for my turn, but I do want to draw this card. Do another Tameo. Dress Down goes away. Hey, deck, how about that land? Green source? Fetch land? Oh my god. Oh my god. Are you saying I'm allowed to play the game? How is this possible? Alright, Tropical Island. Beanstalk. Leave up Consign to Memory. I could flip Tameo this turn, but that's not more important than Consign to Memory. I will flicker my bean with raucous joy that it's turn 8, and somehow my 3rd land has shown up and I'm not dead yet. Something's happening in the end step. Is it Eye of Ugin? Sure is. That costs 2 Lotus Petals to do, so this isn't just like the Ugin endgame where they can do this every turn. Thought-Knot Seer. Dug up. Clean up. I could discard this Quantum Riddler. Or, this is a lot of Tameo. Yeah, I'm not doing Tameo stuff this game. I could flicker out the Flute, second main Quantum Riddler. But you don't have to Phelia the Riddler. If I draw a land, I can Prismatic end the Flute and Riddle and flicker it. Okay, Force of Negation coming in from the sideboard, clipping the card that it was meant for all the way on turn 9, which is also important because that would have turned off Consign for this turn and this turn only. Ooh, this is a lot of Eldrazi mana. I wonder if this is the... Yeah, this is definitely going to be the Wastegate Battle Mage. Yep, there it is. Okay, bouncing Phelia. I can counter one of these 3 things. I could continue to play the game with Beanstalk in play, but I have another one of those. I think it's okay to exile that. Yeah, I actually want Phelia to stay in play. I'm going to counter the bounce. And then they can have a 2-2 and they can have my Beanstalk, but I get to keep my 3-3. If they have another mana here, they can also Thought-Knot Seer, because Eye of Ugin's completely broken. All right, they didn't have that. Good news. A Stifle. A Beanstalk. Let's get this back in. Attack with my 3-3. I think here I am specifically not going to Brainstorm. I have good odds of hitting a blue source, but if I miss, it's so devastating. I'm just going to turtle up, play it safe. Swords to Plowshares, nice. That's good in the future. I'm going to consign the Thought-Knot because the Thought-Knot would take the consign anyway. It's not like letting Thought-Knot resolve lets me counter a second main Kozilek's Command or something. All right, this Thought-Knot's likely to take Swords to Plowshares, though Stifle is just as good as Plow here. Maybe better because they don't gain life. Big Rips, Tundra. Okay, now I could do the thing where I exile the Flute, warp the Riddler, and attack, but now there's a 4-4 in my way. So instead, I will just attack and exile their 4-4 and draw a card. And then Stifle it on the way back in. Wasteland. I'll take that. I wasn't spending mana this turn anyway. Let's get rid of that Eye of Ugin. That's doing a lot. And return this to play, except no, we don't. Passing the turn. I could have been more aggressive about removing this Disruptor Flute. I could have removed this 2-2. There's a lot of things I could have done here, but leaving up Brainstorm with the out of Plow or Force of Will, I think feels better than any of those things. Cool. A hard-fought battle, and it seems like my luck is starting to turn. That was like turn 8 where I found my third land and my Eldrazi opponent just kind of flooded out worse than I did. I'll take it. I'll take the momentum swing. On to the final round.
The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables. In this YouTube series, hosts Patrick Sullivan and Patrick Chapin go set by set through Magic's past, leveraging their decades of experience as Pro Tour players and game designers to analyze the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a deep dive into the facts, mechanics, cycles, trivia, decks of the time, and historical context of the set. The hosts dig into notable cards of the era and their lasting impact today. Each set gets an award show where the hosts pick their favorite cards for categories such as Best, Worst, and Weirdest. And finally, give a letter grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/TheResleevables.
I'm on the draw in the final round versus none other than Thraben Yu. I will keep my hand. Phil likes jam it out bullshit, and this hand has 2 forces in it. Cavern of Souls. Well, shit. Settle down, Phil. Cavern on Human? That's gross. Okay, well, another counterspell. Life is good. All right, well, I guess I'm going to cast this Tamiyo, and I should probably do it off basic island. It is incredible, and I mean incredible in just the thoughtful sense, not in the positive nor negative sense, that the depth of Magic's history that the legacy format offers makes it so hands like Force, Daze just don't fucking do anything because your opponent has Cavern of Souls on turn 1. Right, this is likely to name Quantum Riddler because none of the other cards in my hand matter at all. Oh, name Stifle. All right, so he might be trying to introduce the initiative or something. Land, big draw. Land would be so good here. Yeah. Yeah. All right, Tamiyo, make a clue. Riddler, just gotta cycle it off. Another Riddler. Okay. That's out of there. My hand's pretty garbo. A Swords to Plowshares breaks it back open. Wasteland might even be fine. Hitting land drops, developing resources. That's what I actually care about here. Anointed Peacekeeper isn't even a triggered ability. It's an as it enters ability. Like, I couldn't even have stifled to get ahead of this. Oh, it's very weird, whatever this is. Oh, Birthing Ritual. All right. Now I'm having a much better time. Okay. If I have actual targets for Force of Negation in my deck, we can do this. All right, so we're some million color initiative Birthing Ritual strategy. All right, Phil is in the shit garbage mode. That makes me pretty happy. We attack with Tamiyo. Tamiyo will take 3 damage on the back here, so she will survive. And Brainstorm can fix my life. Wasteland. And Swords to Plowshares. We basically did it all. Okay. No more sadness, only joy. I'm going to put back... Oh, I just want every card. Quantum Riddler is going back. And maybe one of the Force of Wills. All right. Force and Riddler go back. Big flip. Plus Wasteland. Take out that Cavern of Souls. And pass. I'm going to wait for the attack so opponent gains 1 less life when I plow the Anointed Peacekeeper. And now you are just in a Tamiyo squeeze. I was very worried, and then it turned out my opponent is a content creator, and then I stopped being worried because I was... In no universe was I expecting pitching a bunch of shit and cascading to be the next play after what happened on turn 1. All right, well, you've seen the stays. I'm happy to use it. Ooh, a Spirit Guide. A Spirit Guide. Oh, fancy pants with a Spirit Guide. You've also seen this force. Okay, here we go. And now Rizzler goes +2. Tamiyo continues to up. Opponent's got 1 land and a 1/2 versus my engine that's starting to come together. City of Traders dies on its own. $400 well spent on that one. Oh, that's a great draw. All right. Now he's probably just going to attack because that's the play he's got, and Phelia is going to eat his Shardless Agent for free. Then I get to go block. I am playing a pretty real deck versus an extremely fake deck. I do have that advantage going for me. Cool. Okay, versus Initiative, Birthing, Ritual, Cascade. What's the play? Consign to Memory, probably Dece. Dress Down, probably Dece. Force of Negation seems mediocre. Daze actually seems mediocre despite it just having a moment of heroism. I'll reconsider it on the play if there's a game 3. Narset does not seem important here. Teferi shuts down the entire Cascade engine. That's pretty nice. Okay, here we go. I am very nervous about the initiative side of the deck, the Cavern of Souls, big banger side of the deck. I am not that nervous against the Birthing Ritual side of the deck. I could have brought in Containment Priest to be even more hateful against that. Maybe I'll reconsider that if there's a game 3. I think this hand is okay. I'm going to keep it. It's not what you write home about, but it's also not a mulligan. Mull to 5 from the enemy. Ancient Tomb. Skapow. Wasteland deck. Windswept Heath. Not playing around my Stifle. Oh, Upkeep. Did you remember Stifles in my deck? Yeah, you did. Good catch. Basic Plains. Has to play around Wasteland and Stifle. That's so nice for me. Okay, Force and Consign. That covers multiple angles of the deck. Abundant Countryside. I know he's really into that card. I got to play it in a Ball Lightning deck recently. Just how Richard Garfield intended. I will keep this Tundra. I don't know if he's a Wasteland deck, but I'd prefer not to find out the hard way. Cavern of Souls. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Playing an Archon creature spell. Alright, well, that resolves. I can't make it stop. Some people just can't quit the weird shit. Archon of Emeria. Certified weird shit. They flicker out Archon. I'm going to consign that on the way back in. I have to decide what else I want to do this turn. I think I want to No, if I brainstorm, I can't Wasteland. Yeah, I'm pretty happy just wasting the Abundant Countryside. There's not that many Archons in the deck. Counter the Phelia trigger. Another Cavern. Okay. On Human. Brutal Cathar. Alright, yeah, this one's nice. This is exile something until this leaves the battlefield. And then it also can become a werewolf. If I don't cast a spell, which I better do. Rainstorm is a spell. Wow, that's a lot of lands. Put back Trop and one of the Misties. Yeah, on the back, this has Ward pay 3 life. If he attacks, I am just going to flash in Phelia and block. But good chance we're in the initiative pivot here. 4 mana has been achieved despite my attempts to Wasteland. I've Wastelanded twice this game. Oh, baby. All right, Phil. You can put more of that directly into my veins. End step fetch. We'll get a Trop, play Phelia. Rainstorm pre-combat. Consign to Memory, Swords to Plowshares. Wasteland. These are all useful cards. Okay, I'm going to attack and flicker out Academy Rector. Blocking here just results in Phelia still being in play and Brutal Cathar being dead. Wasteland. Waste the Cavern on Human. Is this what I want to do? I guess. Brutal Cathar is going to flip this turn. Oh no, I cast Brainstorm. We're good. I don't want to consign out the Rector permanently because I could just consign the trigger if opponent finds a sack outlet. And more importantly, I might have to... Okay, I gotta navigate this. If this resolves and the initiative is taken, I can plow one thing. All right, yeah, I would rather this just didn't happen. Brutal Cathar coming in. I'm redrawing the card I don't want because I had to Wasteland last turn. Flicker out the Rector. It gets to come back, and this is a 3/3 first strike ward, pay 3 life now. It's starting to fall apart for me. Elvish Spirit Guide. This is the stage of the game we're in. I think I want Savannah. Because white is more important than green. Or white is more important than blue. Uh-oh. This is getting pooey. I guess I'm just on hold it back duty now. Opponent's at 10. Alright, I passed the turn. A little bit stuck here. I need a good rip. Something like a Riddler to pull ahead and have a bigger creature than this 3/3. Birthing Ritual. I could plow. No, I have to force this. That is a sack outlet for the Rector, but the Spirit Guide, I think, becoming an initiative creature is also not okay for me. Come on, something good. That's not it. I'm going to run my Tundra out here. Maybe I should be attacking. If I attack Flicker out Rector, then I can plow the Moonrage Brute. All right, second Rector. What about second Rector? Everybody's fighting now. Okay. All right, so I would take 3, 4, 5, 6. I'd go to 1 if I block. What I really want to do here is block Elvish Spirit Guide, trade with it, and then plow this one. But this has Ward, pay 3 life, which means I probably just want to plow that. I can't block the Rector no matter what. This is 6 damage. I could also just take 6, but then Ward, pay 3 life is just hexproof. I'm certain I want a Phelia in play. Do we think this Rector gets anything better than Birthing Ritual? Yeah, there's got to be some top-end horseshit. But if I'm at 1, I don't think I'm winning this combat anyway. The combat game anyway. Rector being unblockable, or must be blocked because I'm at 1, makes the game much shittier. All right, I'm just going to take 6 here. I've decided. That gives me the opportunity to plow this Rector, and I get 1 good attack through. All right, I'm going to plow, stay home Rector, and I'm going to rip Quantum Riddler, and everything's going to be fine. Shit, dead. All right, GG. Yeah, some tough blood through the mid-game after having a really good early game. Academy Rector. I have 7 stifles in my deck. I'm not going to put a lot of respect on Rector, but Containment Priest stopping the Birthing Ritual is actually kind of nice. -1 Force of Will, I think, and maybe this is just too many stifles. Okay. All right. The Academy Rector angle is the one that ultimately got me there. I think I could have beaten the 2 angles that I knew about from game 1, but the Rector being unblockable until the point where it must be blocked, where things actually get worse. Okay, I like this hand quite a bit. I'll keep. I haven't seen a Wasteland out of him. Maybe his deck can't support Wasteland. Maybe I'm just supposed to lead on Plow here. Right, well, got away with it. Didn't have a turn 1 creature anyway. What do you got for turn 2? A Cavern. It kind of matters. Peacekeeper. All right, I will respond with Phelia. And I have 2 tough cards. Like Quantum Riddler and Swords of Plowshares are both problems for my opponent here. Named Plow. Okay. Now I could spend 3 mana to plow this Anointed Peacekeeper. I could attack and just zoot that out and then consign my Riddler to stay in. I actually like that. Right, that's a bunch of attacks. Riddler, big butt, consign it in. Okay, here we go. Your Anointed Peacekeeper's back. Wasteland might become a new priority here, but knowing I have double plow, but also knowing I have 3 mana, interesting conundrum. All right, still naming Plow, but I'm much better off from that situation than I was on turn 1. Another Cavern on Human. Swords to Plowshares, the Anointed Peacekeeper. Just going straight upstairs on that one. I'm going to waste the Countryside. I can't take you off Cavern anyway. And the damage, I think, is worth more than the cards here. No play past the turn. That's what we needed. Oh my god. I think this is actually better than the Riddler because he's a Cascade deck in addition to other things. I get to shut down an entire play of the deck while still doing Phelia tricks. And we did it. He's had enough. A positive record at the end of that insane league. I really like this deck. I like it a lot. I like the play patterns. I like Phelia. I like Up the Beanstalk. I like Quantum Riddler. I don't like how hard we're working. I'm also not sure. I'm still not even sure. And this is me as a player and how I tend to approach games and matches in formats I'm familiar with, especially in Legacy. Like, why would I fill my deck with Stifles and Dazes, cards that are situationally 0s or 10s that also get worse as the game goes longer, when I could play like Leyline Binding, which only favors me as the game gets longer? Likewise, is Up the Beanstalk worth the splash here when you could play something like Stoneforge Mystic instead and have perfect mana? And the Meteor Sword Flicker Phelia endgame is just as powerful as a Beanstalk endgame, maybe better. If you are a Bant gamer and a Beanstalk gamer, which I know Patreon subscriber Nick is both, this deck is completely fine. You're going to have a good time. If you play well and you understand Legacy and you understand where your pressure points are and how to use your interaction, this deck can win in the hands of a capable pilot. If your goal is to simply win the most matchups and you're completely deck agnostic, I don't know that this is how I would do it. But I'm nitpicking here because I know Nick likes winning matches. And it's if this was someone's little homebrew, I would just be saying, great job, it's full of cool cards and it can clearly win matches of Legacy. Go on, go with God, have fun. But also, I want to be out here and as the person who would be playing Beanstalk in every single tournament, if I thought it was viable, I am not playing Beanstalk right now. And I love Phelia. I'm just not convinced this is the way to do it. Though, if you are having fun doing it, then carry on doing it because it's actually fine. That's my nitpick review of a deck that I had a lot of fun playing. Nick, thank you for sharing this with us. I hope your recent tournaments with this deck have gone well. Everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the Patreon to support the channel, and I'll see you next time.